I have a confession to make. My life used to feel like a horror movie. And here's the kicker: I wasn't only the final girl, I was the villain too. I know it's like dramatic much, but yeah, every day was a performance where I wore various masks to conceal my true feelings. I donned the mask of happiness, crowd favorite, the facade of confidence, and other masks, desperately trying to convince myself and the world that I was okay wearing all these freaking masks. But picture it: it's April 28th, 2018, a day that started off like any other day, but quickly spiraled into this breaking point. The straw that broke the camel's back. I found myself alone in a small room, sitting at the edge of my bed, frantically trying to reach out to a friend I was supposed to meet that day. After hours of silence, the realization hit me hard. I had been trudging through this incredibly dark year, battling intense depression and crippling anxiety. It was as if I chased myself through these dark hallways of my mind, a constant dread lurking just around the corner, a jump scare at every turn. I was running from my thoughts, my emotions, basically from myself. And as you know, just like in any decent horror movie, the villain is always one step ahead. I felt utterly exhausted. The weight of it all made me truly feel like I was just done with life altogether. I wanted nothing else to do with it. I was finished. But thankfully, life is not a horror film. It doesn't have to culminate into chaos and despair. What truly changed my story was meditation, a practice that transformed my life into an empowering love letter instead of an ongoing tragedy. It reminds me of the Chinese artist Bailey Liu and her profound piece called The Mending Project. In the installation, Liu sat beneath a cloud of 1,500 iron scissors, each one poised ominously above her. While sitting at a table, she simply mended white pieces of cloth handed to her by viewers, and more fabric accumulated around her, gradually overpowering the menacing scissors above her. Her work illustrated this delicate balance between looming anxiety and the simple act of repair. For me, those scissors represented my own relentless thoughts and emotions. How I wasn't good enough, nothing would get better. They were sharp, aggressive reminders of my pain and despair. The mask that I wore were my defenses against the inner turmoil. If I could just look fine on the outside, then perhaps I could survive another day. But when I reached my breaking point on that fateful day, it was like a voice whispered to me, breathe, just breathe, keep breathing. So I took a moment to focus on my breath, to acknowledge that I was still here and that I was loved. And after crying uncontrollably, I stepped outside. And though I was still miserable, that small act of breathing made me feel just a little bit lighter than before. Research backs up the benefits of meditation. It's shown that regular practice can actually reduce the size of the amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for fear, stress, and anxiety. So, why does that matter? Because when fear and anxiety subside, guess what else does? Depression. There was a study where people meditated once a week for about 8 weeks, and at the end of that study, there was a decrease of suicidal ideation from about 24% to 12%. And that's pretty significant for only once a week. I was one of those people who desperately needed something like that in that dark moment of my life. Just like Bailey Liu confronting those scissors, I had to face my fears head on. Yeah, it's a daunting task, of course. I think that would be daunting for anybody because who willingly unmasks themselves, right? The villain usually doesn't, not until the end when they think they're about to win. But meditation taught me that those scissors and the masks weren't my enemies. They were simply parts of my identity, seeking, understanding, and healing. With every breath I took, I began to stitch together the fractures in my mind. Slowly, the scissors lost their sharpness and transformed into pieces of fabric that represented my journey toward healing. With time and a lot of practice, meditation morphed into profound self love. It became my sacred space to acknowledge every scar and every tear and gently fill those voids with compassion and love. As the mask began to crack and subsequently fall, I no longer felt trapped. Instead, I experienced this newfound freedom. Ultimately, meditation created a shift in my life. I stopped seeing myself as both the villain and the victim and started embracing my role as the main character in a romantic comedy. Instead of longing for a dreamy stranger, I found joy in my own reflection. Like, oh my God, I'm gorgeous. It transformed my daily existence into this celebration of just self love and moving me away from fear and toward warmth and acceptance. And April 28th, that's actually my birthday and a huge reminder of my journey. What was once the darkest day of my life now stands as the best day ever, not because of any grand celebrations, but due to the ongoing adventure of self love that grows richer with every passing year. Meditation changed my relationship with myself, allowing me to view the world through a very different lens completely. Life is far from perfect, but it's undeniably beautiful in its imperfections. The scars that we carry tell stories of resilience and remind us of the times that we chose not to give up. So, how about you? What about your journey? What are you facing right now? Is it a thriller, a romantic comedy, or something entirely unique? Whatever it is, remember that you have the power to rewrite your narrative. You are always the author, always. Meditation is a guiding light in that process. It's a tool that can help you sit among the chaos under that cloud of scissors and confront what's beneath and begin to mend your inner world. All it takes is just one breath, one stitch at a time, and you can develop a new relationship with your thoughts. Life is always going to throw scissors your way, but you don't have to face them alone. So try to let meditation help you take off the masks and embrace your true self. And then you'll create the story that you truly deserve. You can heal and create the life that you've always wanted. I believe in you.